All right, guys. Hey, today we're going to talk about one rail kicks. I'm going to show you three common mistakes that even higher end players sometimes do. Okay. I'm also going to show you three very easy methods that anybody can do. You don't have to be a mathematician. And I'm also going to share one little secret that you may not know about that will absolutely supercharge your ability to make kick shots, one rail kick shots. You're not going to end up short, especially when we're talking about the more narrow angles on kicks. Okay, so this will be a little bit of an in-depth lesson session. If you don't like to listen and if you don't like to learn, carry on, keep scrolling, do your thing. All right, if you want to learn, let's get into it, guys. All right, this is about as easy of a kick shot as you can get, okay? Cue ball is in the pocket. We are going to be kicking the red three ball down there, okay? It's very easy. On this one, it's a wider angle. We're covering 8 diamonds of distance going this way. So we're going to be shooting for the 4 diamond mark. Where is that? The back of the side pocket, right about here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, the side pocket is a diamond. Every pocket is. Okay, so if I aim from this pocket to the back of this pocket, it means I'm going to be hitting just before the pocket on the rail. Okay, so mistake number one that a lot of people do is they don't stroke it smooth. They stroke it too hard, they jab at it, they don't follow through. It should be between a 3 and 5 weight shot, okay? You don't need to slam these in. Although these wider angle shots like this one are a little bit more forgiving even if you do hit it harder, okay? The shorter angle ones, not so much. Okay, so number one, the mistake is stroke it naturally. Let the cue ball roll naturally. What does that mean? One tip above center. Okay? All right. So this is the easiest kick shot pretty much that you can do. It's right on the set point. Okay? So I'm just going to let it naturally roll. Okay, we went a little bit wide there. We got it, but we actually hit the short rail just first, and that's okay. All right. So I might have been just a hair off to the right from aiming to the back of the pocket, but in a game we still would have made that. Okay, let's get into the next mistake, and then we'll get into some techniques as well. What happens if you jab at it, give it a little pop, maybe you get a little backspin on it. I don't know. Maybe a little side spin when you're not stroking it smooth, when you're hitting it a little hard. A lot of things can go wrong, okay? So if I'm just trying to, well, you see what happened there, okay? I just kind of, I shortened it up. I don't think I really got any spin on it. I might have got a little backspin. And yes, backspin shortens these up a lot, okay? So again, this time I'll just try to play center ball. I'll aim for the same spot. Okay, you see, I played center. I didn't even play any backspin, but I'm not letting it roll naturally, guys. Okay, here is the natural rolling shot again. Okay, it should be right about there. All right, perfect. Bang, can't get any better than that. All right, so let the cue ball roll naturally and stroke it smooth. You want to follow through like I just had on my last one. You don't want to be jabbing at it. You don't want to be overhitting it. It's going to go all over the place when you do that, all right? All right, guys, let's say the cue ball is not in the pocket. Let's say it's out there. The object ball is still in the pocket for this example. Okay, this brings us to our first method, okay? And that is the set point 50. Okay, set point 50. What does that mean? Well, we know that this is our set point, back of the corner to the back of the side. Okay, so I have from the base of the cue ball to here, it's about 8 inches, somewhere in there. You can't do this in a match. Don't get your crap tied up in a knot. It's a demo. Okay, from the base of the cue ball, that's about 50% right there. Okay, so I'm going to keep my tip along the diamond line, guys. I'm going to take this line, I'm going to shift my very evenly right over the chalk. Okay, I'm going to remove the chalk, which isn't really supposed to be there anyways. Now, my tip is on the diamond line. I'm not going to move my tip. I'm going to move the back of my cue over the cue ball. See that, guys? All right. So I got a spot. All right. So right about here, I'm going to let this naturally roll. All right. And we got it. That is the set point 50 when your cue ball is not right on the set point. It's a little bit off of your track line, okay? I call it set point because I can use this line right here for various shots in this region for that type of kick. All right, let's get into the next method. Okay, before we go into the next method, guys, I want to show you a close-up of the last one we described, which is the set point 50, okay? Here's our set point, right? Back of the side, back of the corner, boom. Okay, so let's just put it on there. Base of the cue ball to the cue, which is that's about 50% right there. All right, so now we're going to parallel shift over the chalk. Okay, right there. We're going to keep our tip right there in that spot. Parallel shift over, or not parallel shift, sorry, I just moved the back of my cue over. All right, so now we got a shoot line. Okay, so as you get closer and closer to this rail, it actually helps to hit it a little bit harder because when you're getting to some extreme open wide angles, um, you can open up the angle even more with a natural rolling cue ball. Okay, but I still should be able to make this with a natural rolling cue ball. If you ever want to, you can just adjust about an inch to narrow the angle a little bit. Okay, my line is right about here, and I'm probably just going to narrow this just a touch. Okay, and listen for the three ball to drop. Bang. All right, guys, this is what I call the mirror 50. All right, if we were trying to make that three to that corner, our ghost ball position would be right about here, right in front of the three. So there we go. Okay, so this is virtually a mirror image. Hey, did you know that a pool table is a rectangle made up of two perfect squares? If you cut the table in half right here, you're going to have two perfect squares. All right. And so this is a 90-degree angle, right? 90 degrees. And if you cut a square diagonally right through from corner to corner, that's 45 degrees. Okay. Meaning that if I want to make that three or get a good chance of hitting it and making it in from this spot here, I just have to hit my set point. I aim for the back of the side pocket, guys, okay? Natural rolling cue ball. Watch what happens. I'm not going to make it every time, by the way, guys. Oh, we just missed it, okay? But we did have good ghost ball position there and everything. All I did was hit my set point. What if the ball is not right evenly lined up from one end of the table to the other? What if it's not an exact mirror image? Good question. Check it out. All right, guys, this time the cue ball is over here. And for just craps and giggles, I'm going to put a couple blockers there just so some of you don't say, why didn't you cut it? Why didn't you bank it? This is a kicking demonstration, guys. But some people aren't that bright, so there's a couple blocker balls, okay? So now we take our ghost ball position of our mirror image, which is right here. We're going to mirror image this down here, okay? So I'm going to use a chalk again, just so you guys can get that, all right? This is our ghost ball mirror image down to the other end of the table. I'm going to take my set point over the chalk, which is the set point for this shot. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to shift halfway to the cue ball, okay? Halfway to the cue ball, right about here, okay? I don't have another marker, but I'm going to eyeball this one, guys. Okay, right here, sorry, over the chalk, right there, okay. Now halfway to the cue ball, right here. My tip is on the diamond line. I'm going to shift over the back end of the cue over the cue ball. Okay, right about there. Okay, now we're going to hit this, and we'll see if we get a good chance of making it. All right, here we go. Oh, we just overcut it. Okay, but we had a very close shot there, guys, okay? So that is the mirror 50. Mirror 50. We mirror image the spot. We get our set point, which is always dividing the table in two, and then we shift halfway to the cue ball, okay? Very easy method that anybody can do, even beginners, okay? So let's get into my last method and also some other common mistakes, okay? All right, guys, and the last method, I call it the 50 shift, okay? So take note, we are on the red 3, our cue ball is here. Okay, neither of them are in pockets, neither of them are on diamond lines, they're both off-centered. We have to create our own track line. How do you do that? Take your tip, put it into the rail, get your cue over the part of the ball that you need to make contact with to pocket it. We're going to try for the corner. Okay, now ignore these blocker balls. Draw a line from the cue ball to the red 3 and mark the 50% mark, which is right about here. We're going to keep our tip in place, guys. We're going to go over top of the center point. That is our shooting angle for this shot. Okay, check it out now. I'm going to just keep that line. I'm going to lift it up right there. Now we're going to parallel shift straight over the cue ball. We'll keep it all in place. Okay, so we should almost be about half diamond there. All right, so let's see if we can make it, but at the very least, we're going to try to hit it and not give up ball in hand, guys, all right? So here we go. Now for rolling cue ball. All right, well, we got a good, solid hit, didn't we? All right, so let's do that one more time. I'll change up the angle. Check it out. All right, guys, here it is. They're different spots now, okay? So here it is in real time. Let's get our contact point, our angle, now our shooting line. Ooh, right on the diamond, look at that. Okay. Oh, okay, we just about had it. It wasn't the easiest tick shot to make, but we got very close, all right? All right, I covered two of the mistakes. The last mistake that a lot of people do is they don't connect the dots. Okay, so this people say, oh, it's in the corner. All I have to do is aim for the second diamond, and we're gonna make the 3 in the side. So then this happens. Check it out, guys. I'm gonna hit this nice and soft, not for rolling cue ball, and you end up way short. Why is that? Check it out. When I line up the cue ball to the dot, where is the back of my cue? It's over here. It's not over here. Okay? Technically, if I'm going to connect the dot from diamond to diamond, my cue ball needs to be on this path here. You see that? That's actually the position for a dot to dot shot. Dot to dot, right there. Connecting the dots is over here, not in the pocket. Okay, and we still might end up short on this because I'm going to share the secret with you here right away. So 45 degrees, as we said, from the edge of one of the squares to the, if you divide the table in two, there's 2 squares. If you go diagonally across the square, that's 45 degrees. If we're cutting that in half, 22.5 degrees. If you've worked with miter saws, you know that. Okay, so I'm still probably going to end up just short. We might make this, but now I'm going to take the line, connect the dots, and we're going to shoot this for the second diamond, and I might still be short. Check it out. Yep, because I'm going to share the secret with you now. When you're less than 40 to 45 degrees, so on this angle, we decided it's about 22.5 degrees, okay? I'm covering a distance of 4 diamonds, all right? You need to go 1/3 over. What does that mean? Let's check it out. All right, guys, so remember, connect the dots Your initial track line is going to be connecting the dots, okay? So right there is our initial track line. All right, so that we already determined is going to leave you short, probably right about here, okay? So we need to apply, if it's less than 40 to 45 degrees, which this is about 45 degrees, okay? Um, Coming across the square, it's about 45 degrees going into this rail, okay? All in all, it would be a 90-degree angle coming from here, going to the pocket, all right, to the corner. But we're on a shorter angle now. We're going to cut that 45-degree angle in half. It's about 22.5 degrees, okay? Which should bring us about 45 degrees as on this rail when it comes out, okay? So by the time it reaches this long rail. Anyways, we won't get too complicated. So here is our track line back of the pocket to the second diamond. Now we need to go 1/3 over, okay? So I'm going to keep my tip-in spot on that second diamond, 1/3 over, okay? So this is actually our line for the side pocket. No spin, natural rolling cue ball. Check it out. Aim for the second diamond, not for the rail bed in front of it. I'm just aiming for the diamond, guys, okay? Natural rolling cue ball all day long. Now, why is that? Why can't we just use the natural triangle when it's less than 40 to 45 degrees? Because there's some friction, okay? There's also some acceleration that when it hits the cushion pushes it a little bit and shortens up that angle, even at a soft pace, okay? So some of you guys are going to say, well, why don't you just apply a little bit of spin? Or why don't you just hit it softer or harder or follow? Okay, I'm showing you the natural way to make it when it's a more narrow angle. Just make sure when you first line it up that you're 1/3 over all day long. You're going to make this at a nice soft weight. Okay, very easy, guys. Okay, I'll show you another example of even a shorter angle and some mistakes and why people miss the shots. Okay. All right, guys, let's do a 2-to-1 example, okay? Here's the 2 diamond, 1, 2, okay? And the 1 diamond. All right, let's put on that line. And should be stroking right over that diamond. Yep, I am. Bang, bang. Aiming for that 1 diamond mark. And let's see what happens, guys. Yep, short. All right, we need to go 1/3 over. We need to move our booty 1/3 over. We'll do the Harlem Shuffle, guys, all right? So now this becomes our set point track line for this shot, okay? So I'm now stroking 1/3 of a diamond over on my back end, still aiming for the first diamond, not the rail in front of it. I'm just aiming for the diamond, okay? And we hit it perfect, almost too perfect. We almost followed the cue ball in on a scratch. Okay, so what if you're just a little bit off of that? 1/3, okay? On narrow angles, you need to do the 1/3 over on your back end, okay? So what if we're right here? Okay, well, let's take that line from the 1/3 of the back end over here to the first diamond. We're going to shift halfway to the base of the cue ball. We're going to keep it in place just like before. Okay, now I got a line, and now let's hit it in there. Okay, perfect. Easy little shift, easy little adjustment because I had the 1/3 over track line. Okay, right there. Oh, sorry, that's what we got. 1/3, perfect. 1/3 over on the back, lined up for the first diamond. Okay, all right. That's only applicable, guys, basically on shorter angles. The wider your angle gets, it actually becomes the opposite. It's going to naturally open up on you. Okay, that's why on that 1 corner shot, I adjusted about 1 inch more narrow on the rail because I was getting close to this rail, shooting for this corner down here. My angle was getting pretty open, okay? And when it's narrow, you have to adjust the other way. And I find that easiest to generally do the 1/3 over on your back end. So connect the dot from here to here.
And that, sorry, right there, 1/3 over, okay, to the one diamond, that becomes your track line all day long, guys. All right, so that's how you can be consistent making one rail kicks. Hit those balls, give up less ball in hands, and get more wins, guys. All right, talk soon. See you at the next lesson.